Choose Your Own Adventure books. Let's take one of countless possible walks down memory lane. So, Choose Your Own Adventure books were among the first ever game books, especially in America. And in addition to this historical significance, they're also fantastic books in their own right. One of the really cool things about this channel is it gives me the perfect excuse to go back and revisit some stuff that I loved as a kid, and I definitely loved these books. So let's take a look at them. I have quite a few Choose Your Own Adventure books in my collection, and the range itself runs to well over 100 books. But in this particular video, I'm going to focus on the first 20 releases and delve inside a selection of those, so you can see what the books were all about. Alright, so what we have here are the first 3 ever Choose Your Own Adventure books. So whether they were really the first books of the game book genre, I don't believe they were. Apparently there was a series of books called tracker books that I've never encountered, based in America, but I think these were the books that popularized the genre, and it's partly because look at the name they chose for themselves. I mean, that is the generic term by which game books are often referred to, as Choose Your Own Adventure books. People know what you mean when you say Choose Your Own Adventure. I'm going to show you the first few books in this series, and you'll notice how the covers are gorgeously uniform. These first 3 have got the same artist, which is nice. Now, for many people, The Cave of Time would have been their first exposure to Choose Your Own Adventure, mainly by dint, of course, of it being the first book in the series, and that's quite an exciting looking cover for a kid to see. More important than that is just the general concept of these books, which was brand new at the time. But the most exciting concept of all back then was the Choose Your Own Adventure format itself, because in case you're still unaware, these books present you with choices throughout. You pick which page you go to depending on which decision you want to make. You are the main character, and the tense it uses is, well, you can see, you follow the left passageway, you walk along the right hand passageway, you step into a niche in the rocks. Yeah, you're the hero of the story, as it says here. I think it presented it quite well in a marketing kind of way. You're the star of the story, choose from 40 possible endings. That's pretty good. Yeah, that gets it across. But just in case it didn't, there's a kind of intro here that really lays the whole concept on the line. Warning, do not read this book straight through from beginning to end. These pages contain many different adventures you can go on in the Cave of Time. From time to time, as you read along, you will be asked to make a choice. Your choice may lead to success or disaster. The adventures you take are a result of your choice. You are responsible because you choose. After you make your choice, follow the instructions to see what happens to you next. Remember, you cannot go back. Well, actually, Choose Your Own Adventure books you can, because as anyone who used to like game books knows, you could be faced with a choice and then keep your finger in that page in case you make a bad choice, and then you could go back and make the other decision. That wasn't the right way to play game books. Well, who am I kidding? There was no right or wrong way, because it was all about fun. Think carefully before you make a move. One mistake can be your last, or it may lead you to fame and fortune. That's quite a promise, quite a promise. One thing that amuses me and kind of baffles me about the Cave of Time is that it was a great concept, because if I remember rightly, it's literally about a cave that can send you to any period in history, I guess. I seem to remember it being that, and yet look at the size of the book. Only 40 possible endings. I mean, there's so many possible storylines generated by a story about a cave that can send you anywhere in time, and yet they just chose to make the Cave of Time one book. Actually, they didn't, because I've just found this. Return to the Cave of Time, the 50th book. Anyway, back to the video. But I also remember having a great time with it, no pun intended at all, because that would be rubbish. Let's have a look at Journey Under the Sea. Another nice cover. Thanks, Paul Granger, for that. Yep, kids are going to love that. You are the hero of a fabulous deep sea adventure. It's very much boys' own stuff, really, a lot of these adventures. But they were so much fun. I can't remember to what extent I played these books, but they certainly took up a great deal of my time. My God, back then they cost 85 pence. How'd you like those apples? A book for 85p. Although these days books have been devalued, so the concept of a book costing 85p no longer seems outlandish. Illustrations are lots of fun in this. including this one in which a bloke is, well, you are about to be eaten by sharks. Although that shark, that's not a shark, is it? That's a puzzled fish. It's quite a creepy little scientist. Anyway, I'm not going to go through any of these books in too much detail because it's just interesting to see the range that initially came out. By Balloon to the Sahara, more boys' own stuff really. You are floating high above the earth in a giant balloon. Below you is the Sahara Desert. Marvellous. I can't remember too much about that one. Oh, actually I remember this guy. I mean, who could forget him? Look at those lugs. He's quite the character, isn't he? What's his name? What is he? What's this guy's story? Harry. Harry is the name of this character with the ears. Okay then. Right, let's have a look at some more. Here are books 4, 5 and 6, and there's one book that stands out a mile to me, and I'm pretty certain it was my favourite by a country mile. It's this one, as you might expect, with me being a big horror guy and a writer of scary stuff. The Mystery of Chimney Rock. Look at that. I mean, Space and Beyond, yeah, that's fine, I guess. Your code name is Jonah. Spy stuff, interesting. But this is what we want. It's certainly what I want anyway. Yeah, it's very much a horror story, isn't it? Let's have a look at the synopsis. On your vacation in Connecticut, you notice a huge empty stone house at the top of a hill. Some of the windows are boarded up, some are covered with vines. The old house known as Chimney Rock is so dark and gloomy that most people won't go near it. But you're the curious type. Should you see for yourself what's inside? Your cousin urges you to go ahead. If you say, "I'll do it," turn to page 4. If you say, "No thanks," turn to page 6. Okay, I don't know if that's the most exciting sell they could have done for this book. Nevertheless, let's have a look at some of these illustrations and see if they... Oh dear, loose pages, that's a real shame. I'm also a bit gutted that the spine is faded to hell and back, but never mind. I can't remember how scary this book was, but I guess it probably wasn't that scary. These books were for kids, although having said that, there was a series, there was kind of like a sub-series of Choose Your Own Adventure books. They were for younger readers, you know, younger than the actual standard Choose Your Own Adventure range. So that's interesting. So I suppose these were for slightly older kids. Ah yes, that's the stuff we want. Yeah, it definitely brings back memories. Just that guy's face. Look at the state of him. Policeman terrified. That's great. The policeman looks into a cupboard, he's terrified, and he runs out of the house, and you have the choice of looking into the cupboard. Should we look in the cupboard and see what's in there? Yeah, come on. Spoilers be damned, eh? Right, what's in the cupboard? Are you ready? Oh. On the shelf in front of you is a stuffed mouse surrounded by twigs and leaves, as if in its natural setting. The mouse is standing with one tiny paw resting on a tiny piece of bark. Your mouth falls open in disbelief when you read the brass plaque next to the mouse, on which is inscribed Horace I. Bigley, 1921 to 1979. Bewildered and confused, you staggered out of Chimney Rock. A few minutes later, 2 more policemen arrive. Oh, so you don't find the person you're looking for, Jane. I can't remember too much about this book, so I have no idea what the significance of this Horace I. Bigley thing, but I assume it's some kind of, oh, Horace was always in this house, or Horace died 10 years ago, kind of deal. Ah, yes. Great, great. He's a frightening guy if ever I saw one. There's a witch. See, there's a witch involved. Right. That's quite a page, isn't it? Looks like something out of House of Leaves. Have you read House of Leaves by Mark Z Danielewski? If not, read it. I'll put a link down below in the comments. Yeah, that's great. And so are these books, I'm sure, but The Mystery of Chimney Rock is very special to me. Yeah, you're an American spy in this one, and in this one you're on a spaceship travelling between galaxies, which is a nice bit of variety in the Choose Your Own Adventure world. And actually the next book is also a little bit of sci-fi, so that's interesting. Maybe they were kind of placing a few bets there. Now you'll notice that these numbers are not sequential anymore, because I don't seem to have 8, 9 or 10, which is interesting. Maybe I've got them somewhere I don't realise. I'll have to have a look. Anyway, once again, I really like the uniformity of these covers, and this one particularly strikes a chord with me. I remember really enjoying this. Now, Edward Packard for me was the original author, along with R.A. Montgomery. Actually, I think it was those two who kind of pioneered the choose your own adventure style. But Edward Packard, I don't know, his name particularly resonates with me. So what's this all about? You're aboard a supersonic jet high above the Atlantic. Suddenly a huge gleaming white cylinder shoots out of the clouds. The next thing you know, you're inside the galactic ship Rachma, captured by the all-powerful U-TIE Masters. I see. Yeah, that's quite an interesting picture, isn't it? A young man being sliced in half. Lovely. One interesting aspect of the Choose Your Own Adventure books is that most of the adventures weren't very long. I mean, if you look at the size, the thickness of this book and the number of possible endings being 30, then really each story, unless there's some kind of clever structuring which allows some of the stories to share branches of storylines, then, you know, each story is really only going to be involve 3 or 4 choices, I guess. It depends how game books are structured though, because maybe there's one right way through some of these books that lasts for the length of your average book and is actually quite long. Mystery of the Mayor, yeah, that brings back memories. You're in Mexico. You have come to explore the ruins of the ancient and mysterious Mayan Indians. Lovely. Right, I'll show you a few more, then we're out of here. Lovely. Ah, House of Danger. Now this might ring a bell with a few people, partly because this one was released as a board game quite recently, and this really is testament to the power of branding, because I saw the board game version of this in a shop, like a role play / board game shop in New York it was. Saw it on the shelves in a box, didn't even fully grasp what it was. I guess I kind of knew it was a board game, but I bought it there and then just because it was a choose your own adventure thing being released in, like, you know, 2019 or 2018 or whatever it was. And so yeah, that really is the power of branding and the power of nostalgia, I guess. Yeah, maybe I'll do a separate video on that board game. Let's see. Now this is interesting. The Abominable Snowman, obviously good for Doctor Who fans. Is the Abominable Snowman real or just a legend? You and your friend Carlos are ready to risk your lives to find out. Yeah, that's good. I mean, it's great that the first array of choose your own adventure books had a nice variety to them. These are all set in different worlds and kind of different genres, I guess, with there being a spy one and a sci-fi one. Smart move. But I also suppose that the company were just throwing things at the wall to see what stuck. And maybe as the series progressed, they realised that certain types of book or certain settings or genres sold a lot more than others. So that would be interesting to look at, possibly in a future video. The Forbidden Castle. So what's that? Is that a fantasy? Oh, okay. So I was saying that the Cave of Time was only used in the Cave of Time, but that's not true. Brilliant. The Cave of Time whirls you back to medieval England. That's nice, isn't it? Yeah, so that's a nice kind of tool for them to use across the whole series. You must solve the riddle that leads to the Forbidden Castle, where riches await and maybe a way home. But the king wants the fortune for himself, and his army is right behind you. Okay. Sounds like fun. The illustrations are a lot of fun in this. And sometimes they can be unexpectedly big, as you can see there. And I remember one book, and I can't remember the name of it, I think it involves UFOs and aliens perhaps. But you spend the whole book trying to find this enchanted land, and you can't actually get to it through choices in the book. I think there's like a double page spread illustration that you have to just find within the book and almost cheat to see it. So that's a bit odd. Let's have a look at this one, House of Danger. Yeah, I wonder why this one was chosen. Perhaps it was one of the best-selling ones. Okay, so what's the genre? You are a detective and psychic investigator. One day in your office / lab, a bit clumsy that, you receive a phone call. Help, I need your help. You quickly trace the call to a big, strange-looking house. The front door is opened by a mysterious woman who vanishes before your eyes. You soon discover that each room in the house contains a deadly mystery. There is danger at every turn. Can you think fast enough to survive. It could have been as well that this particular story lent itself the best to becoming a board game. Once again, different genres very much. Survival at sea, safari, racing type adventure, Underground Kingdom, it looks like a fantasy story, I would say. A couple more. Secret of the Pyramids. I think there was a bit of a UFO theme that was dotted throughout Choose Your Own Adventure. I kind of associate them quite a bit with UFOs and alien stories. Escape. Now, what's that? That's an interesting one. Yeah, this is quite a story for kids, isn't it? Quite political. The United States has been split into 3 hostile states: Torado, Rebellium and Tertalia. You are one of the leaders of the Tertalian spy mission. Oh, interesting. Yes, I think spies and space possibly became 2 of the real stock in trades of the Choose Your Own Adventure series. This has just been a selection of some of the first 20 books in the series, but I want to hear from you down below about the whole series. Tell me what you thought of Choose Your Own Adventure books, especially when compared to other game book series. Did you love them? Did you hate them? How did you feel? I also really want to hear what your favourite ever Choose Your Own Adventure book is and why. Tell me in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching all the way to the end. I'd also like you to know that you get a free book from me called American Hoarder when you sign up for my mailing list. Details down below. I'll see you next Sunday, and until then, embrace your obsessions.